Rich Paul got you in your feelings. But is he wrong?
If I was the Lakers, I would probably be targeting Jaren Jackson.
For whom?
But this comes with
Austin Reaves.
This comes with a very unemotional attachment because Austin is beloved, which he should be. There's a world where you can do what's best for your team and do what's best for Austin because Austin deserves to get paid. I love him as a Laker, but if we get in balance because if you put all the money into just the backcourt, if you can keep Austin, have Jaren some kind of way, have Luka, they're going to take up most of your money. And then I'm not saying
but harder to flesh out the roster.
That is really the question. I think every time Rich says something, your brain goes to LeBron James over Jordan. That's all you hear. You don't hear nothing that's coming out of his mouth. You hear LeBron James. That's it. And I'm glad LeBron James cleaned it up. Hey, he's his own man. What he says, that's how he thinks. That's not how I think. Now, let's actually think about what Rich Paul is saying, because I've said it. When you think about tradable assets, you have Austin Reaves, a number 3 option, most of his career, playing like a number 1 and number 2 option. Meaning a guy who got offered $89 million last summer is worth all of $250. That means if you're trying to build a championship roster, is Austin Reaves your number 2 option on that championship team? Is he stable enough in his game to be a number 2 option? If the answer is no, we're going to need someone else. We're going to need to pair Jokic with Luka, Giannis with Luka, right? If that's what you're saying, then that means you need to trade Austin while he's at his highest peak to see if someone's going to give you a number 2 option for your number 3 option. That's all this is. That's what is really being discussed and thought about, right? Because at this moment in time, LeBron James ain't a sustainable number 2 option. So if you can bring in someone whose game is stable enough to be a successful number 2 option, you sell high on Austin Reaves. Because if you pay Austin Reaves number 2 option money, it's going to be hard to get a real number 2. And right now, he is the best asset. He is the one that you can get and demand a lot for because he's playing his ass off. That is a positive. It's not a negative. It's a positive, not a negative. If I can get, who's out there? A Bam and a Hero for Austin Reaves, do it. If I can get a Lori Marketing for Austin Reaves, do it. Right? That like I got a number 2. Then when LeBron James come off his $50 million, I have a lot of money to go get something. If I sign Austin Reaves to the $250 in the summer, how much money do I have to go get a number 2 to put Austin Reaves as a number 3? Right now, this is just basketball talk, and mostly chess moves, man. It's when you're looking around, you're looking at teams being built, right? You're looking at Houston Rockets, right? You got Kevin Durant, Sengun, and then you have A-Man, right? You have Ant-Man, Julius Randle, and Rudy Gobert, right? You're trying to figure out if Austin Reaves is your definite number 2 moving forward, and that is the $250 million question. So get out your feelings and just think about it as a basketball GM, right? Is he worth 250? Yes, right? He deserves all of 250. But sometimes your value, there's situations where you overexceed your value, and sometimes certain teams can afford it if they're trying to get somewhere. Like I said last year, if JJJ made an all-NBA team or something, he will be in the 300. And that's not what Memphis would have wanted. Your second player, your second option, making more than your franchise name. 100 more, right? That messes up your franchise right there, because he is never going to be traded. With the money he has, he will never be traded for the guys that's making that money. The Jokic, the Giannis, the Luka, the Tatum, the Cade, right? Who else is in that category? A Wemby when he signs his money, and SGA. You would never make a swap trade for that, right? So when I hear someone talk, I try to understand what they're trying to say. So get your feelings out your pocket, and sometimes you gotta listen, because Rich Paul is smart. You can learn a lot if you remove LeBron James from the idea. Everything Rich says is not Rich putting LeBron over Michael Jordan. That's not every fucking conversation, people. Now I hope my check cleared for this.